Well, good afternoon, everyone. You've received the final copy of Paul Rebstock's report into a series of unauthorised disclosures relating to the INFAT restructuring 2012. What I'd like to do is to make some comments about Ms Rebstock's findings, and I'm happy then to answer any questions that you may have. First, I think it's useful to kind of recall why did this inquiry get underway. In May 2012, there was an unauthorised disclosure of a series of cabinet papers relating to the INFAT restructuring. John Allen, the Secretary of Foreign Affairs, asked me if I would use my powers of inquiry to look into that unauthorised disclosure, because the cabinet paper had gone to a number of government agencies which John did not have powers of investigation in, and I agreed to do that. Those disclosures were of significant concern to me as Commissioner. I take all unauthorised disclosures seriously, but especially when cabinet material is involved. In our system of government, it's vital that Cabinet is able to work in a secure and confidential way. The secure handling of Cabinet papers by public servants is of critical importance to the operation of Cabinet government. I need to be able to assure ministers and any future governments that confidential information will be protected and that public servants are trustworthy and will act with integrity. I commissioned this report to establish the facts around the 2012 leaks with a view to highlighting any areas where improvements could be made and to see what lessons can be learned for the future. Paula Rebstock reports a strong suspicion that the leak of the cabinet papers came from a temporary clerical assistant who was working in the State Services Commission at the time and had previously worked in the Labour Party Research Unit. I'm extremely saddened and disappointed by this. I am very proud of my team at the Commission and the way that on a daily basis they handle sensitive information with discretion and professionalism. If the leak came from within SSC, then the individual who chose to behave like this has badly let down their colleagues. Regarding the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade itself, the report has identified conduct by a group of senior public servants at INFAT during the change process that fell below the standards expected of people in their position. Specifically, Paula Rebstock finds that the behaviour of some Tier 3 managers in INFAT created a perception in the department that it was acceptable for opposition to the proposed changes to be aired outside the department and used for political purposes. Ms Rebstock finds that 2 Tier 3 managers developed strategies to oppose the change proposals and to disrupt or stop the change process outside the staff and confidence consultation process. Ms Rebstock further finds that some INFAT staff leaked a variety of INFAT staff and confidence material, either directly or indirectly, to the Labour Party spokesperson on foreign affairs and trade and to the media. Why is this unacceptable? It is unacceptable because proposed changes to public service departments must be able to be made through proper processes that allow change proposals to be put forward and considered on a factual basis. In common with all of his fellow public service chief executives, the Secretary of Foreign Affairs is responsible for ensuring that his department is fit for purpose. To this end, he responded to the changing environment and circumstances of INFAT by proposing changes to the department. He needed to be able to put forward those proposals and have them debated and considered without them becoming the subject of political debate and without improper pressure. For this reason, he made available a variety of information on a staff and confidence basis. That staff and confidence basis of the consultation was not respected. I fully respect public servants and fully support public servants actively engaging with change processes. It is absolutely vital that staff have the opportunity to put forward their views and have them taken into account, whether they are positive or negative. This sort of engagement usually results in improvements being made to the proposals and a better end result for everybody. However, I expect that staff will engage with those proposals through proper channels and will treat the process with respect and professionalism. Deliberately leaking information and working to undermine and publicly embarrass your chief executive is not appropriate and can never be justified. Senior public servants are expected to act with a high level of integrity and professionalism in the way they conduct themselves. This includes acting responsibly and objectively at all times. Those with staff who report to them have an extra obligation to lead and support the people who should be able to rely on them as their manager. They will no doubt have their own views, which they are perfectly entitled to put forward through the appropriate channels. But they must not let their personal views get in the way of their professional responsibilities. The ability to manage personal views and not let them affect the way professional responsibilities are carried out is an essential part of being a public servant. What we have to take out of this investigation is the importance of ethics in the public service and the need to ensure public servants understand their obligations and the need to continue to behave with integrity even during processes which are difficult for them personally. Change is a constant in the public sector. We have seen over the past few years a number of restructuring processes undertaken and a wide range of departments and wider agencies in the state sector. In my view, the vast majority of state servants who have engaged in those processes have done that with high levels of professionalism and dignity, and as a consequence of those contributions have led to improved outcomes for those proposals, and that professionalism has been displayed even at a time when proposals imply difficult situations for public servants personally. I am proud overall of the professionalism of public servants as they have conducted themselves in such circumstances. That is why it is very important for me to affirm those values and to call behaviour where that does not align with those values. This report is a reminder to all agencies of the need to be constantly vigilant and to ensure that internal security systems and processes are operating effectively and cabinet information is held securely. While I believe that SSC has generally robust systems in place to safeguard sensitive information, we have made changes to improve our work in this area. I am confident that this has reduced the risk of an individual behaving like this again. Across the state services, there is work being done to improve the secure handling of both cabinet papers and citizens' private information. The Cabinet Office is making progress on the Cabinet project, which will ensure tighter security and better tracking of cabinet papers. The Government Chief Information Officer is leading a significant work program to help state services agencies improve their ICT security and private information management, including ways to ensure that government information is protected, private and secure, and only accessed for authorised purposes. Before handing over to questions, I want to make two comments about Ms. Rebstock's report. This report has undoubtedly taken a long time, indeed 18 months from start to finish. So it has undoubtedly been the longest inquiry in my time as Commissioner It is also undoubtedly the most expensive inquiry in my time as Commissioner, at around $500,000. To put that into context, it's probably fair to say that each Commissioner presides over at least one inquiry in their time of similar magnitude. For example, Michael Winteringham's inquiry into the scampi industry, which some of you may or may not recall, which took 19 months and cost between $4 and $5 million, is an example that these inquiries can take much longer than you expect, and particularly when you are getting into findings about individuals, etc., it is not unsurprising that the natural justice process can be elongated, or as occurred in this case, that we've had litigation relating to Ms. Redstock's report. I also want to make some brief comments around the X, Y and Z, and I want to say I did consider whether it was in the public interest in this final version of the report to identify those individuals. I don't believe that is in the public interest for several reasons. Firstly, Ms. Redstock has spent a long time working through the context and evidence relating to this inquiry. She has spent considerable time listening to the submissions from various parties and has come to her own view that in the context of this report and its findings, that it is not appropriate to identify individuals X, Y and Z in her report. I've also reflected upon my responsibilities and the purpose of this report. Primarily for me, this is a way as a state sector that we learn from what was a difficult experience in a particular agency. I have no desire to indulge in a witch hunt about matters that are now very historical. Thirdly, as I've said, this report has already taken considerable time and involved significant expenditure of public money. I've made the judgment that if I moved to disclose the names of the individuals implied here, it would be likely that there would be further litigation leading to further delay and expense of public money. And so overall, I believe the benefits of disclosing the identities of the individuals here are well exceeded by the costs of doing so on a number of fronts. With that, I'll hand over to questions.